I spent 12 months thinking through what my brand stood for, and anyone who followed my blog would have seen the tagline for the blog change every few weeks as I thought this through. And eventually I distilled it down to the business of social transformation. I'm deeply passionate about the contribution that the private sector can make to social change, because as a father and as a man, I think the world needs it right now. And eventually that distilled down even further to what I believe is a fundamental mind shift in thinking and behavior that's a counterpoint to what got us in trouble in some ways. And this is this we first message, where if we work together as employees, we can be more effective. If we work together as companies, we can solve bigger problems. If we work together as customers, we can amplify the message of a company or brand or a product or service so much more authentically, because it's one-on-one relationships, than traditional broadcast marketing. So I'm a big believer in what we can do together rather than what we can sort of tear down when we compete. So Brand Simon is someone who's a big champion of collaboration, of creativity, of cooperation.
So your new book that's coming out is titled We First. What does that mean, We First?
We First is a tonic to the me first mentality that has informed so much behavior in the last 5 or 6 decades, whether it's consumers and how much they consume, or customers and how much they consume, whether it's companies that were really putting profit for profit's sake first, whether it's the way we treated the planet, where we basically imagined it had infinite resources and ultimately we've done a lot of damage. I think one thing that we have learned is that we are now an intimately connected, mutually dependent global community. What happens here affects overseas. What happens overseas, we know about in real time here. Right. In which case, how do we expand our definition of self-interest? How do we best serve ourselves by helping others? And that's when you make the shift from me first to we first. So if you're a leader, how do I approach my company and my employee base in a we first way? If I'm a brand, how do I approach my competitors in a we first way? If I'm a nation, how do I solve some of the biggest problems facing the planet if we presume that we can work together? And I think the challenges we face are finally of sufficient scale that we need to engage in solutions such as these. So We First is a new way of looking at the world, where we have our own best interests at heart, but they're achieved through serving the interests of others as well.